is the Fox 5 News Block.
Jury deliberations have begun in the Daniel Penny manslaughter trial. The former Marine is accused of killing homeless man Jordan Neely with a chokehold on board a subway train back in May of 2023. And an emotional memorial service on Long Island for Omer Neutra, an Israeli Defense Force captain confirmed dead but previously believed to be held hostage by Hamas. Good afternoon, I'm Bianca Peters. Welcome to the News Block. Those stories in a moment, but first, we're taking a live look outside right now. Liv Johnson here with the chilly forecast. Hey, Liv.
Hey, Bianca, that's right. Cold. That's what we have going on today. But we're not alone. We're getting this Arctic blast from Canada going all the way down into the southeast. So all of us are experiencing below average temperatures for this time of year. Currently 41 degrees in New York, same with down the shore in New Jersey. But a lot of us are in the 30s, like Long Island, Hartford's 38, Poughkeepsie's 38, and 36 for East Hampton. We do have a little bit of a wind chill making about 5-6 degree difference. So it really feels like mid 30s. And most of us, though, are feeling above freezing. So that's the positive, because this morning a lot of us were feeling below freezing. We do have pretty strong winds, 14 miles an hour from the west, so they've picked up a little bit over the past few hours, but most of us don't have wind gusts. Newark had some earlier, now Belmar has some, and we've been mostly sunny, kind of a mix of some sun and clouds. There's that lake effect snow that we've been dealing with in parts of New York State, and some snowflakes have gone down to Ulster, Sullivan County earlier this morning. Now we do have a system on the way that's going to start Wednesday night into Thursday. That's going to be rain and a little bit of snow flurries. Bianca?
All right, Liv, thanks so much. Meanwhile, some developing news. Jury deliberations have begun in the Daniel Penny manslaughter trial. Few cases in recent history have divided New Yorkers as much as this case from May of last year. That's when homeless man Jordan Neely entered the subway and started making threats. In the minutes that followed, former Marine Daniel Penny stepped in. Prosecutors and the defense agree that he was in the right to step in, but the disagreement has actually been detailed in his month-long trial. Prosecutors allege Penny held Neely in a chokehold for too long, 6 minutes. They say Penny could have released Neely once everyone stepped off the train. The defense says Penny, in protecting his fellow subway riders, held on to Neely to wait for police to arrive. During the course of that trial, lawyers heard from riders who were on that subway car, many who thanked Penny, as well as police officers who responded to that scene. And 21-year-old Omer Neutra grew up in Plainview, Long Island, and served as a platoon commander. Yesterday, the IDF confirmed that he was killed on October 7th last year when Hamas attacked Israel. Today, people gathered for a memorial at the Midway Jewish Center in Syosset to pay their respects. Meanwhile, there, it was standing room only at the service, where hundreds gathered to say their final goodbyes. Those attending say Omer will be remembered as a friend, son, brother, and a hero. The IDF says that Neutra was among the first to fight Hamas when they attacked. And while his body is still being held hostage in Gaza, this native Long Islander is being remembered as a leader, role model, and a Long Island hero.
For over a year now, we've been breathing life into your being, my beautiful boy, with no physical sign back from you, but with hope and love of so many. We kept going and going, keeping you alive.
How do you speak about your son that you've been fighting for 14 months, hoping, praying he survives the most horrible conditions on earth? And yet you will get to see him. And then one moment, one knock on the door, and it's all over. You have to internalize. You will never see him again.
Flags will be lowered at half-staff in his memory. Meanwhile, we just got through the presidential election, but less than a year from now, we're going to be voting again, this time for mayor of New York City. And as Fox 5's Morgan Mackay shows us, despite being 7 months away from the Democratic mayoral primary, it is already a crowded race.
The mayor's race is historically uncertain.
8 candidates have already announced that they are running against Mayor Eric Adams in this coming June Democratic primary, with other candidates still waiting in the wings. As Democratic strategist Trip Yang explains, it is rare to have so many candidates challenge a sitting mayor.
What it tells us is that beyond all the nuances of how you win a mayor's race citywide, People feel that the current mayor, Eric Adams, is very vulnerable.
City Comptroller Brad Lander, former City Comptroller Scott Stringer, State Senator Zellner Myrie, State Senator Jessica Ramos, and State Assemblyman Zoran Mamdani have been in the race now for well over a month. But in the past week, 3 more candidates jumped in the race. Jim Walden, a white-collar attorney, officially launched his mayoral bid and hired former Governor David Paterson as a campaign consultant. Paterson backed Adams for mayor in 2021 and donated to his legal defense fund earlier this year.
And I hope that in a way today is our evacuation day, because today is the first step in our journey to rid corruption from City Hall forever.
Michael Blake, a former state assemblyman and White House aide under President Barack Obama, also announced his bid for mayor last week.
We deserve a leader who won't have headlines due to investigations, but rather have headlines about jobs and education.
And just recently, Wall Street investor and Democratic donor Whitney Tilson officially launched his campaign.
I'm a very, very solid Democrat, but I'm alarmed at what's happened in our party and especially in our city.
But Adams is still leading when it comes to fundraising, already raising the maximum amount allowed to compete in the primary once matching funds are factored in. Although the Campaign Finance Board has yet to decide whether it will release those matching funds after Adams was federally charged. Despite the uncertainty, Adams still subtly campaigning, making the top focus of his campaign clear.
Affordability, affordability, affordability. This is what we hear the most. Affordability, being able to live in New York.
I'm Morgan Mackay, Fox 5 News.
And that was Morgan Mackay reporting there. All right, to this now, not only is it Giving Tuesday, but today is also Travel Tuesday. The day centers on incredible deals for those planning their next getaway and provides a perfect opportunity to continue the saving spree. This time on travel-related purchases, from flights to hotels and even full-blown vacations. The savings continue in the wake of Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and then Cyber Monday yesterday. Meanwhile, it's a season of showing thanks and giving gratitude, but as people start considering whether to donate to charities this year, Fox 5's Sean Langill tells us exactly what's all about Giving Tuesday.
December 3rd marks Giving Tuesday, a day meant to unleash generosity to those in need. But as the holiday season ramps up, economic experts like Dr. Una Osili say many factors influence how much and how comfortable people are with making charitable donations, the first being the state of the economy.
If we look at the financial markets, they have performed quite well, especially going into the last quarter of the year.
Overall, Osili believes the outlook on year-end donations seems positive, even though inflation remains a big concern.
But we've also seen inflation have an outsized impact for many everyday households. In other words, their giving has grown, but it hasn't necessarily kept pace with rising prices. But if we take the bigger picture, households give when they feel financially and economically secure. And the performance of the stock market, financial markets over the past few years has certainly been a very strong positive factor.
Still, philanthropy experts are carefully monitoring a downward trend in the percentage of Americans giving to charities.
And some of that is due to the economic factors, but also due to lower trust in institutions and in nonprofits.
If you want to make a difference this year, but don't know where to begin.
For many households, they tend to give in areas where they are familiar or where they have a personal connection.
There's also many things you can donate instead of your cash or belongings.
Volunteering is a great way to bring a group together, whether that's your family, your colleagues at work, or even your friends.
Sean Langill, Fox News.
Meanwhile, another year and another wishing wall. People from around the world can actually head to Times Square to write down their wishes for 2025. And confetti, it's all going to be released at midnight on New Year's Eve. And the organizers of Times Square New Year's Eve unveiled this wall yesterday in anticipation of the big celebration. It's going to be available on the Broadway Plaza between 45th and 47th Streets every day until the 29th, except for Christmas Day. And wintry weather slamming communities across the Northeast from Michigan to western New York. But as crews work to clean up all this snow, there could be more on the way later this week. Fox's Robert Ray has more.
Folks across the eastern U.S. are still digging out from several feet of snow. And now more is on the way, prompting winter storm warnings for millions in the Great Lakes region.
I wasn't ready for it, but hopefully it sticks around so I don't have to do this every day.
Forecasters say an additional foot of snow is possible from New York to Michigan through Tuesday night. Here in Erie, Pennsylvania, plow crews have been scrambling to clear and treat roads after nearly 3 feet of snow fell in just 4 days. The storm led to whiteout conditions in Michigan, forcing this major highway to temporarily shut down after more than a dozen cars crashed. It also caused delays and cancellations at airports for people flying home after the holiday weekend.
It was beautiful for having family around, but it's much nicer to come where it's warm.
Forecasters say conditions will improve across the Great Lakes overnight, but that will be short-lived as another storm moves into the region on Wednesday and potentially brings several more inches of snow. Still, it's a welcome sight for ski resorts across the region, who hope it's a sign of a good season ahead.
It's a little icy in the conditions, but we're stoked to, be out here. Pine Knob, we got some ice on the hill, but that's all right. We're just thankful for the temperatures.
Now, forecasters say temperatures could reach freezing or even below for most of the U.S. this weekend. In Erie, Pennsylvania, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Well, certainly does not look like Erie, Pennsylvania out here, but it still is very cold. Liv Johnson, we're still trying to get used to it. We got to get the gloves, the sweaters, the beanies, all that stuff.
All of that stuff, all that winter clothing, and we're going to need more of it as the week goes on. So what we have right now, they were talking about obviously that snow that we have with the lake effect snow, but here's an Alberta clipper getting closer and closer to us, and what's happening is bringing another cold front, and then ahead of that cold front is some rain and snow. So starting tomorrow evening, the rest of this day is fine. Most of Wednesday is okay, but about mid to late afternoon, our Futurecast model is showing that we could see a quick pop-up shower. Most of it is going to be in the evening, though. So as at 8 p.m., we're getting some rain. There's some snow to the north of us, and we'll likely see a few snow flurries early Thursday morning, and then by Thursday afternoon, we'll actually be in the clear, but we see a big temperature drop starting Friday. Lows tonight are in the 20s, some of us in the teens. Highs tomorrow look very similar, upper 30s, low 40s, and then that big drop is on Friday, where we just have a high of 36. Saturday, we just have a high of 39. Bianca?
All right. Looking good, Liv. Thanks so much. Well, that is your news block for now. Bianca Peters, thanks so much for joining us. Tune in to the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on Fox Local for all of the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here tomorrow.